Hello everybody. Sorry about the video this morning. I was trying to test it live from, as you know, Facebook is not working, my Facebook Live. So I was trying to do this from YouTube and get everybody into a group, and I'm just not used to doing a live on YouTube, so I did not know how to do it. Even after many attempts, it still wasn't working. So next best thing, I'm going to give you a video on this. This is very easy to make, and then that way you can just reference constantly back to it as you need to anyway. So this is a really good option so that you have it for yourself, okay? So for those of you that bought my Hello Spring Wreath Kit, thank you very much. This is a fun one. This is very easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So when you got your kit, you should have got, there's all the components were here that you needed. You had the sign already done for you. You got a 6-pack of the deco mesh. This is 6-inch deco mesh, okay? You got pipe cleaners. You got 20 pipe cleaners. I took 18 of those, and all I did was fold them in half, and I cut them in half, but you will need 2 longer ones. So keep 2 of them long. So you'll need to cut the 18 and just keep 2 of them long. And then a 14-inch wreath form. This is from the dollar, you can get these from the Dollar Tree. That's where I find them best, but sometimes people are saying they might be out now. They might be. If you can't find them there, you can go to craftoutlet.com, and they do have them. I just checked this morning. These were still in stock. These were 14-inch wreath. This is the one that I'm using for it. You can go bigger, you can go smaller. You're just going to have to adjust your deco mesh with that, okay? But for now, I'm going to show you how to do it on the 14-inch. And so let's put some of this aside, okay? I'm going to show you how I cut my deco mesh. This is just how I do it, okay? Let me get this hung up. What I do is I always have a cutting mat. I just bought this big, large, it's a quilting mat. I bought it right at Joann's. And I always have it on here because it just helps with, it's an easy ruler for everything that I need. I do a lot of wreaths, I do sublimation, things like that. And it's just a ruler that I'm able to have here when I'm cutting ribbons, things like that. I love it. But what I do is I take 3 of my mesh together, and I just kind of lay them out together. See how I have this done? Lay them on top. And then I just roll them out. I throw them out to the side. I adjust this, and I'm going to just start from a 10-inch. We need to cut all of these down and be prepared. So we're going to do our prep work now at 6 inches, okay? And it's just going to come like this. And I throw them off into the side into a bin. All right? It just, with deco mesh, if you know anything about deco mesh, it is sticky. To me, it is like the Jagger bushes, if you all remember those as kids, of crafting, of wreath supplies. Because deco mesh is very sticky. And this is the way, if you can't do it this way, and of course, as you see, I'm using just a rotary cutter. To me, it's very quick. It speeds things up. But when I did my craft class, we did not have that, so the ladies cut them with scissors. You can do it that way. You don't have to have these supplies when you're first starting out. Don't break the bank when you're first starting things, okay? Because there's no need to. As your business grows or as your hobby grows, add supplies to it. But don't feel like you need to start out where all the professionals are, where people who do this every single day. You don't need to start where they are. Start where you are. And it still works out. And in the end, it ends up the same. Like I always tell my husband, you know, it's like a strike when you're bowling. Doesn't matter if that pin wobbled and at the end it fell before the bar came down and you got a strike. Nope. Because at the end of the day, when it's on the paper, it still says it's a strike. So don't go out and think you need all these fancy materials, because believe me, that is not how I started at all. I just, as my business grew, and I still do that, as my business grows, as my hobby grows, I add. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars to just come out and make one wreath. And then who knows? Sometimes I've found projects that I literally, after I did it, I was like, never doing that again. So that could be the case. So don't waste your money on going out and purchasing everything brand new because you see someone else using it. Scissors works just as fine. Like I said, we did this with my church group. I taught this class, and they all cut them with scissors. And Dollar Tree scissors to boot, because I went and bought them on my way to teach the class because I thought, I forgot to tell everybody bring a pair of scissors. So they weren't even the best of the best scissors. They were $2 scissors from the Dollar General. Okay. And as you see, this goes quick. It's a little bit more, takes a little bit more time when you're cutting them one by one, which that's what I had them do with the scissors. I thought it was more manageable. When you're doing them with scissors, just cut them one at a time. And again, I don't know if I said, but 6 inches. So I'm going from 10 to 16 here. And at the end, when you get to the end, you will know it because they are stapled. These are stapled in. I just gently pull them out. Sorry, my phone is ringing in the background, even though I've silenced it here. Okay, so when I get to the end, I'm going to cut them off separately because, again, it's more manageable for me to do it that way because they kind of, when you get to the end, it's weird. It's kind of gets really tight to roll, and so I will cut them singly. And you'll need something. You see, I'm just using this to hold that. It just helps to hold that down. Okay. Deco mesh is very sticky. It likes to catch everything. This is one of those times where you don't want to wear a sweater or something that grabs it because you will be grabbing it constantly. I had a lady that came to my craft class, wreath class at church, and she had a very sticky sweater on. It was much chillier, and it was a nightmare for her. Her deco mesh just kept constantly catching her shirt. She ended up putting on, I think like an apron or something over it. That might have been in the kitchen. I don't remember. She stuck something over her sweater because it was becoming a nightmare for her. I'm going to cut off this funky end here. And don't worry about being so precise. Get it close, but deco mesh is very forgiving, and I mean very forgiving. So that's the beauty of deco mesh. So you don't know if your lines aren't straight, if it goes a little at a slant. It doesn't. Nobody knows that. You're not even going to know that. Okay. Okay, so let me get this over here. All right, so now I'm going to set this aside because I don't need that. I'm going to just close up this. Always make sure you close your rotary cutters, especially if you have small children around, because believe me, those are super sharp, okay? I like this one personally just because it doesn't have, I used to have one that you had to put a cap back on it. This one literally has the cap self-storing. So when you do this, it automatically does it. Always close it. You don't want no child or grandchild to be hurt. Okay, so let's get our wreath form. And now is the time when we're going to start attaching our pipe cleaners, okay? And this is going to go super quick, all right? What we're going to do is we're going to, before we put them on, I just kind of bend them in half, find where my half is. And we are only going to use the 2 middle rows, okay? We are not going to use the outside edge or the inside edge. And if you see, there is sections in here. There's 6 sections. We need 6 pipe cleaners in between each, which becomes 36, okay? So this is how it's going to be. We're going to work this section by section, only using the 2 inner rings, okay? And what we're going to do is, very easily, we are going to take our pipe cleaner on there, and nice and tight, because you really don't want these sliding around too much, you're going to twist it twice on there. And we are going to do 2nd row in. We're going to do 3 of them there. And literally, I work section by section. I don't get ahead of myself. I don't work all the outer edge and then the inner edge. That's not how I do it. I go section by section. And I just give it 2 good twist ties, okay? Twist turns. And then we are going to go now to that 3rd ring from the outside edge. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put 3 up here. And what we're doing is we are actually creating a zigzag, okay? I'm sorry, we only do 1, 2, yeah. We do 3 up there, so 3, and so it'll be this, it'll go start here, go up, start here, go up, start here, go up. So it's 3 and 3, so 6 per section, okay? And we want it to kind of zigzag or weave, all right? Our ties. And we can do that along the way. So the way I do that is, now that I got them on, and they're not, like, they're still in here, they're tight enough, but they're not, they can still move. I kind of just slide those down, all right? Now, when I did my cutting, you seen I did 3 at a time. I kind of sectioned that. There's no right and no wrong in your colors, okay? But the way we do it is, we are going to do 3 and 3, all right, per twist tie. If that makes sense to you, I'll show you in a minute. So figure out how you want your colors. I just put these 3 together and put these 3 together. They're already in bins for me. You don't have to do them that way. You can mix match. And it's crazy because I let the lady decide how they wanted to do them. But when you're doing the 3, you're going to keep them consistent. Always have the same 3 and always the same 3. You don't have to, but it keeps you organized when doing your wreath with your mesh, okay? So whatever 3 you choose, try to keep those 3 together. And the way I mean that is, my first 3 I cut, they were a blue, they were I think this is a purple. And this is the reason why I say try to keep them together, because these are so light in colors. The purples and the purple, the pink, and the apricots kind of start getting crazy on your mind the way it is. All right, they kind of almost start looking, your eyes look that way. And all you're going to do is you're going to take your 6-inch mesh, and you're just going to roll it up like a tight burrito, almost like I think they call them taquitos, or very tight burrito. Okay, so we're going to get small, tiny rolls. You can roll them up tight. And we're going to do that. We're going to crisscross it. Pinch out with your fingers. And we're going to put the 3rd one in. And, you know, it doesn't have to be, this deco mesh is very forgiving. This does not have to be crazy with this, okay? And I just kind of do like a star pattern. And I gather that together, and I stick it in my twist tie. And I twist tie it tightly. 2, 3 turns. And that's our first one done. All right. So now I know I'm doing a zigzag pattern. I go to the the upper row, because that was the bottom, that was the second bar in. I'm going to take that one that's up here, I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to alternate it with my other 3 colors that I had done, which I chose just to do the 2 apricot, like a purple lavender. I think this is a light pink and an apricot. Okay, and watch how fast I do these. I am not being perfectionist on this. All right, you don't have to be. There we are. Put them together. Gonna throw them in here and twist tie them up tightly. And we're just gonna repeat this process literally the whole way through. And we're going to, when we do that, I should have said this first. You can do this after each quarter or when you don't. I cut down this twist tie slightly. Don't cut it so that it's off, but if you see, like I cut some of that down and then I just tuck it. I'm gonna cut some of this off and I'm gonna tuck it and I'm just gonna shove that over there. We're gonna continue to move on. So that was the top row. The next one I'm pushing over is going to be the bottom row. And we're gonna go back to the blue, the green, the lavender, whatever that is. And you don't have to put them in the same order as long as they are pretty much staying with the same colors. And as you see, I don't get picky. I just hurry up and whip them around into circles, roll them up. They don't have to be super tight. Deco mesh is the best to work with because you have to trust the process. The ladies were all worried when they were doing there. They were like, it's ugly. It's not looking right. And this is something that you, I mean, look, that looks so scraggly and you're like, oh, that doesn't even look right. Trust it, it will. So we are going to go to the top row when we pull it over. And we're going to twist it in. And see how I kind of pull it together and pull it tight? You want to kind of be it tight. Do 2 or 3 turns on it, clip that off, push that down, push it over. That was the top row, so we're going to do bottom row. Okay, where are we at? Okay, my blues. This is really, we're just going to repeat this for 6 sections. I literally can have this wreath done in about 15-20 minutes. Super easy to do, super quick. And I love them quick projects. I love instant gratification. I think that's why I love sublimation, because it's a quick gratification, where vinyl took a minute. Sometimes you had to do a lot of layering. This is the last one in this section. And as you see, I'm not real worried. Like, they don't have to be super tight. Just get them in there, kind of fan them out like a flower or a star, or lay them on each other. It's fine. Just fan them out a little. Cut that excess off. Put that there. Okay. One section down. Okay. And we're going to continue and repeat. Move on. So we're going to need to do the same thing. 3 on the bottom. Remember, we're just using the inner circles, the inner 2 rings, okay? 3 on the bottom. And 3 on the top. Twist it twice. Twist it twice. Okay, so I'm going to get this one here. And I ended this one I'm going to look back and I see that I ended that at the top. So again, it's always going to be start bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. It's pretty much going to be the same exact process every single section. And again, I'm not worrying about, did I do the green on top? Did I do the blue on top? I didn't. As long as they're pretty much the same 3 colors, that's all I worry about. I like to snip them as each one. That way I'm not worrying about them in the end and having to go around and grab them. Okay, so I did a bottom. So now I have to bring a top over and work on that one. These can really be so close in color once they're cut, because they're light colored, that you kind of lose where you're at. That's why I like to keep them in buckets and know which ones I'm working with. The ladies had me laughing at the craft class I had because they were picking each other's colors up. They were a disaster. A fun disaster though. Okay, so that was the top. So we're going to move back to the bottom. And as you see, I'm not really worrying about how tight they are. I just want them to roll in a little. And then just slide that over. Okay, that was a bottom, so we are going top. You could probably whip one of these out in a half-hour's time from start to finish. The longest part really is actually just cutting the mesh, especially if you're going roll by roll. That's the longest part. Putting it together, very easy. Okay, bottom. Let's put this over here where you can see. And you can kind of just see how when you fluff it along the way, it kind of just starts falling into place. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we are on the light pinks. Okay, 2 sections done. Okay, 2 sections down. All right, working on the third one, which will be halfway there. All right, let's get our 3 and 3. 3 on the second ring. And 3 on our third ring from the bottom, which would be the 2 inner circles.